This again. The most powerful kid. All right, let's see the most powerful jit. Let's see what he got going on.
Beijing, China. It's just after nightfall.
Shout out China, bro. We gotta go there one day.
Year 1908.
Okay.
A mysterious group leaves the Forbidden City. Servants, mounted imperial guards, the palace chamberlain. It's an official escort plus security detail.
Fine.
But they're not taking someone out of the city. They're on a mission to bring someone back.
Oh.
They travel north until they arrive at a red-gated mansion, the home of Prince Chun.
Oh, nah, not Prince Chun.
He is not expecting visitors, but the imperial procession is not here for him. They're looking for his 2-year-old son.
What?
The little boy is afraid of the strangers and hides in a cupboard. The servants try to pull him out and carry him away, but the boy resists. He screams, he sobs, he scratches and wails. When they finally manage to calm him down,
what's good, John? What's good, Tall? What are we doing right now? We're watching the most powerful jit in the world.
They take him back to the Forbidden City. This little 2-year-old boy was just chosen to rule China. His name is Puyi. Puyi is going to be the next emperor of the Qing dynasty.
Puyi, that's kind of swaggy. I ain't gonna lie to you, Puyi. Shout out, bro.
And the Chinese people will regard him as a living god.
They thought he was a god? I bet.
This video is largely based on the excellent book, The Last Emperor by Edward Beer. Find the link in the description.
Okay, appreciate you, dummy. From boy to god. That's crazy.
It's Puyi's coronation ceremony, and the boy can't take it anymore. For what seems like an eternity, they paraded before him. Strange men speaking strange words. Ministers.
They legit praying to little bruh. Puyi! Puyi! What? Come on!
Palace guard officers, other officials. They approach and perform a ritual bow, kneeling 3 times and touching their heads against the ground 9 times. A kowtow. Each man pledges his allegiance, words that mean nothing to the young boy. To the 2-year-old, it's incomprehensible and frightening. The one person who could soothe him, who would calm him down and make him feel safe, isn't there. His wet nurse.
His mom?
Puyi is not allowed to see his mother, and Nurse Wang is her replacement. She plays with him, breastfeeds him, sleeps next to him. She's his main...
What the frick you mean breastfeeds him? The frick you mean breastfeeds him? How you breastfeed a kid that's not yours? How? No. I genuinely don't know how does that work. How do you breastfeed a kid that's not yours? Would y'all both have to have had a kid at the same time? Because it's like, wouldn't women usually produce milk after they like pregnant and stuff like? What?
Main comfort and favorite companion, but she has been excluded from the ceremony. Puyi begins to fidget. Also, he's cold.
Bro.
The hall is freezing. He tells his father, Prince Chun, that he wants to go home.
What the frick?
Then he starts crying.
No idea, bro. I think it's just tradition.
Prince Chun is desperate. No occasion could be more important than this. It must go well. He tries to soothe his son, saying that it'll be over soon. Those words may have comforted Puyi. To the palace staff who overhear them, though, they sound like a grim prophecy, not only about the emperor's reign, but about the fate of the Qing dynasty itself.
Qing dynasty. Oh, now he's getting older.
The Qing dynasty began in 1644 after a minority ethnic group, the Manchu people, overthrew the majority ethnic group, the Han people. At its peak,
I heard of the Han.
In 1790, the Qings were the 4th largest dynasty of all time. At the time of Puyi's coronation, China had more citizens than any other country. When the boy took the throne, he became the ruler of nearly 1/3 of the world's population.
Jeez.
China has been ruled by dynasties for more than 2,000 years.
Okay. There's the Qing dynasty. There's the Han. I know the Han. I've heard about the Han. The 3 kingdoms, the Jin, the Su.
And the power of the emperor has remained unchanged since then.
Song, Huan, Yan, my bad, Ming.
Then.
I've heard of Ming. We've all heard of Ming. Y'all heard of the Ming dynasty. And then there's the
On paper,
King.
It was virtually limitless. The Qing emperor was arguably the most powerful human being on Earth. But actually, China and its dynasty have been in decline for a long time. A series of internal power struggles have weakened the position of the emperor, leading to this one seemingly bizarre moment. But in fact, Puyi was not selected as emperor in spite of his age, but because of it.
Well, so because he was the only one.
This is Tsuchi, also known as the Dragon Lady.
Oh,
As a teenager, she was chosen to be a concubine of the emperor. After his
damn, concubine? For the folks who don't know, concubine is pretty much a lady who's kind of like married to the king, but like her only purpose is just sexual desires. Like it's like they have a wife and then they have like their sex people. So like even in the Bible, like King Solomon, he had concubines. He had thousands of them or hundreds of them. So those were just women that he had sex with, and then he had wives, which he would also have sex with. But like mainly for like, you know what I'm saying?
death, she seized control of the empire and effectively ruled China for nearly 50 years as Empress Dowager. To maintain her power, she installed underage boys as puppet emperors. But as the last of them grew older, tensions arose. Now he is very ill. Tsuchi knows he'll soon be dead. She is willing to do anything to hold on to power. After losing a war against Japan, China was in heavy debt. As a partial payment, Tsuchi allows foreign forces to claim territory and valuable resources. China is weakened, the population oppressed, and the Forbidden City, a place of intrigue and conspiracy. Tsuchi is under massive...
Yeah, I want to understand, why is the city so forbidden? You know what I'm saying? What kind of like type of operations? China in the trenches? No, it has to be, bro. They were going through some stuff, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I ain't gonna like, a lot of China's lore is very, very interesting, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Pressure. Her health has been deteriorating. She urgently needs
So now she's become an old, lack of better words, prostitute. We gonna make it out with my new album?
puppet. Technically, as long as Puyi is still underage, his father, Prince Chun, will be regent. He himself is loyal to Tsuchi. He's also incompetent, unlikely to outshine her. Exactly what she needs. After little Puyi has been seized from his home, everything seemed to be working out for her.
Okay.
The day after, as expected, her previous puppet emperor died. He was poisoned. But before Tsuchi can make her next moves, she too dies, and a 2-year-old sits on the throne. Of course, all of this is lost on Puyi.
So was this like the last like his dad was the last person who was being manipulated by that lady who had power to the previous emperor? Okay. Woo, yeah. Okay.
That some important looking people took him away from his mom, put him in a fancy robe, and are doing all sorts of strange things in front of him now. The reason is that he's no longer considered an ordinary toddler. From now on, to everyone he encounters, he's a living god.
What the fudge? Life in the Forbidden City, yeah.
3 years later, Puyi is 5 years old now. Okay. And this is what a typical day of his might have looked like.
1911?
He opens his eyes.
This is a while ago.
He's on a massive kang, the platform bed where he sleeps every night, snuggled against Nurse Wang. Puyi must get dressed. Custom dictates that the clothes he wears must never have been worn before. Yesterday's outfit, his silk tunic, padded waistcoat, sable jacket, and fur-lined coat, has already been disposed of.
Jeez, bro.
Of course, he's not going to dress himself.
New drip on the daily? That's
As with everything, the eunuchs will take care of it.
Nothing second
They are his servants. If you want to serve in the imperial court of the Qing dynasty, you have to become a eunuch. That means you have to cut off your...
Yeah, eunuch are... Oh, I remember that from the Bible. Eunuchs are people who cut off their balls. Right? Their whole genitalia has been cut off. Due to the fact that, like, if you were to be around any... Like, you can't be tempted. You know what I mean? You can't be tempted by any particular person or do anything harmful because you don't have any parts.
Imperial court of the Qing dynasty, you have to become a eunuch. That means you have to cut off your penis, scrotum, and testicles. It would guarantee that the emperor is the only fertile man in the palace.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Therefore, every child that was born here had to be his.
Dang.
Like all male Qing subjects, eunuchs wear a queue. Only a particular kind of eunuch, eunuchs of the imperial presence, were allowed to look at Puyi. All others had to look at the ground or turn away. They had no beards, their heads were bowed, their voices were high, since most had been castrated before puberty.
I forgot your balls is really where you get like a deep voice from. So if you got no balls, you a 60-year-old man with a high voice.
Tradition dictated a person couldn't reach heaven if they weren't buried whole. The eunuchs carried their removed genitals at all times, in little jars filled with...
No way you're telling me I'm walking around day to day with my dick and balls in my hand, gang. No way. Every day I gotta be reminded that I don't have my balls attached to me and I keep them in this jar. No freaking way, gang.
Salt water.
Salt water and balls, bro. Oh my gosh. Jeez.
The emperor is hungry. At a signal, the eunuchs will immediately prepare a huge buffet for him. Now, like every other day,
Like
he must pay a visit
bro.
to the eastern palaces. Here, his other mothers live. 5 women who were either married to or concubines of the 2 previous emperors. To get to the eastern palaces, Puyi must take a walk through the city, again accompanied by the eunuchs. Wherever Puyi goes, dozens of eunuchs accompany him. One walks 30 yards in front, warning people to make way. Then come 2 chief eunuchs, walking on either side of the path. Then, about 2 feet behind, the center of the procession, Puyi himself. He is walking, and 2 junior eunuchs attend him on either side. Then come eunuchs of the imperial presence, carrying clothing, parasols, a canopy. Then more eunuchs still, carrying boxes of cakes and delicacies. Then eunuchs of the imperial dispensary, and finally, at the rear, eunuchs carrying chamber pots and commodes. If along the way, Puyi realizes he needs to use the toilet, the eunuchs will be there, rushing forward with a chamber pot, and then rushing away with it to inspect the
Goodness gracious, bro. Every single need, bro, he got it taken care of.
outcome. Puyi arrives. According to ritual, each mother asks after Puyi's health, though whether they care is less clear. Long Yu, for her part, believes little boys should be kept in good health by half-starving them. She holds considerable power over Puyi.
Half-starving? What? They inspect his poop? Yeah, they gotta make sure his poop healthy. Make sure he's eating a lot of his greens and veggies. What?
She's the widow of Guangshu, Puyi's poisoned predecessor. She's Prince Chun's
So his predecessor, so it's probably his dad, was poisoned and then boom.
co-regent. In a few years, she will banish Puyi's beloved nurse Wang, not even allowing her to say goodbye. Though Puyi hates
Why?
all of his mothers, he has a special hatred for Long Yu. On the way back, Puyi is in a
Long
bad
Yu a
mood.
hoe. Nobody bangs with Long Yu. She the reason why his dang near his mom was all he had, bro. Come on.
Suddenly, he makes a decision. 2 of the eunuchs offended him. It's not clear how, but either way, he wants them to be flogged. The 2 offending eunuchs are made to expose their bottoms. 2 other eunuchs come forward, holding sticks. The eunuchs are beaten on the spot. Puyi watches, and there's delight in his eyes.
Nah, that's crazy, bro. This is how sick and twisted people get sick and twisted. You give them power when they don't deserve it. He literally got happy when his eunuchs bent over to get beat.
Back at the Hall of Supreme Harmony, he listens as court officials drone on and on. They speak of matters of state, providing information incomprehensible to the little boy. They come with documents, each requiring the seal of the emperor. He applies the seal again and again and again, under the supervision of his tutors and the palace chamberlain. It's bewildering and terribly boring. As regent, Prince Jun holds the real power and makes the real decisions. But the seal must be applied by the hand of the emperor. At last, after hours of talk and ceremony, Puyi is free. He wants to be entertained. There's no real friend to play with, but the eunuchs are not only his servants, but also his entertainers.
So there's everything.
One of his favorite eunuchs puts on a puppet show. Puyi loves it, and he comes up with an idea.
Okay.
He wants to reward the puppet master with a cake. But before presenting the gift, he asks Nurse Wang to fill it with sharp pieces of metal. He tells
And he's gonna put it in there and then force him to eat the whole cake. Oh my gosh, this kid is sick.
her that he wants to see what the eunuch looks like when he eats it. Wang manages to convince him to fill the cake with dried beans instead. Now, Puyi asks for his air gun. He's looking for a practice
Air
target
gun.
and chooses the eunuchs. But shooting eunuchs is
This
only fun for so long. He's bored again. He sees a piece of dirt on the floor. He points at it and tells one of the eunuchs, "Eat that for me. And if a living god asks you to eat dirt, you better
what the fudge?
kneel down and eat it."
Bro, what?
At night is when the little boy
So he pretty much had everybody doing everything that he needed to do, made them do sick and twisted stuff at his leisure.
feels safest, curled up in the arms of Nurse Wang. Sometimes he still misses his biological mother, but his memory of her is already hazy.
Oh
He
my
won't be allowed to
gosh.
see her again until he is 13. Puyi lives an isolated life. He has no idea that beyond the walls of the Forbidden City, the country which he is technically the emperor of, is in turmoil.
So he doesn't. So pretty much everything is going around him is going horrible. Is that what I'm getting?
It's October 1911. In Wuchang, a group of soldiers mutiny, turning against their corrupt generals.
Oh,
This
tough.
uprising soon spreads all over the country and turns into a full-blown rebellion against the
Oh my
dynasty.
gosh, Tibet, China.
The Chinese people are fed up.
Wait. Was China? Did China used to have Tibet? Wait. Is Tibet in China? Or is Tibet in Nepal? I really don't know. I'm asking. I want to know the knowledge.
Wars and increasing Western incursions have decreased China's territory,
What the
and the
frick?
majority Han population has been sick of Manchu rule for centuries. The people begin to dream of a more unified republic.
So they're
Then the imperial army flips, siding with the rebels, leaving the dynasty without military defense.
Okay.
By February 1912, Prince Chun has renounced his position as regent. Empress Dowager Long
So his dad left,
Yu also steps down
and the other lady left after that mutiny, after a whole fight broke out.
and
Okay.
agrees to Puyi's abdication. And just like that, the Qing dynasty is no more. China is now a republic.
Oh, okay.
With the
Yeah.
new freedom of press, newspapers sprung up all over the country. Soon,
Bro,
outlets
that's crazy, bro. In America, China, like, you know what I'm saying? 1911, people sitting there worrying about slaves and having slaves, just to realize that in China, they having dynasties and all of that wild stuff, bro. That's crazy, bro. Yo, what's good, Persuader?
from every political camp
What
started
the
shouting over
frick?
each other in a highly polarized media landscape. If that sounds
Yo.
familiar, it should. Polarization and echo chambers are fueling
We're
record low
watching
trust
the most powerful jit in the world.
in today's media. But today's sponsor, Ground News, is changing that.
I appreciate you, gang. Keep doing your thing, bro. You got it, bro. Let's
For the
see.
majority of the traditional Chinese population,
Fill
the
me in real
idea of a
quick.
country with
Okay, I got you. So right now, pretty much what happened is this boy, right? This boy was taken from his family to brought to this entire city because a concubine, his dad was what's it called? His dad was a puppet for a prostitute, and that prostitute was connected to a king. And through some turn of events, that kid was like the only successor. So that kid had to be the next emperor, because the prostitute's client was the king, the it man. So now they treat the little jit, which he was abducted at 2 years old, they treat him as literal gods. You see what I'm saying? As a literal god. So right now, this kid, he's so bored, but now he's becoming sick and twisted. Like he told his eunuchs, which are people that are his servants, they don't have their balls. They hold their balls in salt water and hold them in their hand. You saw what I'm saying? Like a little urn type vibe. It's so super crazy. He told them to eat a cake with metal shards in it so their mouth could probably bleed. One of them got offended, so he told them, so the other eunuchs started spanking him. I'm telling you, bro, he's a sick and twisted little boy. No cap, no troll.
without a monarch is odd. Abolishing the dynasty entirely is unthinkable. So the new rulers negotiate an agreement with the old monarchs. Puyi would be allowed to live on in the Forbidden City with his servants and personal fortune, plus an annual allowance of roughly $3.4 million in today's
$3.4 million a month?
money. Even
That's a
though
lot
Puyi officially abdicated the throne, he continues to sit on it,
Yep.
and he continues to put the imperial seal upon court documents. But now these documents concern insignificant matters: staff promotions, the transplantation of trees, when the eunuchs should change their uniforms.
What the fuck?
The Forbidden City has become a place of make-believe,
Bro, what?
and it begins to feel like a golden cage, one that Puyi will want to break out.
No way you're worried about Lotto. I'm gonna let y'all have that.
Of very soon.
I'm gonna let y'all just, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got that mindset. Okay, so now he's getting
8
pissed
years
off.
later,
He got
a
a sign.
well-dressed British gentleman enters the Forbidden City. He will bring chaos to the divine palaces. His name,
Persuader. Gotta specify. My bad. You know Lotto bad is no. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never even thought about Lotto in that way. Never really found her in that way. What do you mean cap? Bro, you guys gotta realize that, like, I'm not to say I'm special, but like I'm in a different mentality, bro. Like, more of these rappers and like some of these like celebrities, I see they're formulaic, bro. They're formulaic. Like the older you get, you start to look at a woman more than just what she look like. You see what I'm saying? Or like once you begin to mature, I don't want to say it's an age thing, but like you get to a point where it's just like, oh, dang, shorty, you got a pretty face and a fat butt. Dang, shorty, you got a pretty face and like, it gets to the point where it's just like that's all you see. So it's like, okay. And most pretty girls don't have a good personality, bro. You see what I'm saying? Not all, but like some of them do. It's very hard to find a 9 out of 10 with a really good personality, bro. But Jesus got me, so I ain't even really worried. I'm in a different mentality. Gang, I'm not even saying it like I'm better. I'm just saying that, like, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It gets boring once you look at a woman just for what she got on her. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is like, bro.
Is Reginald Johnston. Johnston is
like,
a respect.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Can you make me laugh? You know what I'm saying? Can you make me laugh? Are you caring? Are you kind? Do you praise Jesus? Like, it's different than that.
Chinese linguist.
That fat butt one day gonna deflate. No cap, no troll, bro. It's gonna start looking like a moon bounce after the 5th bounce when the fat kid jumps in. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It gets deeper than that, bro. No cap.
A poet and calligraphist.
I bet.
Now he will be the English teacher of China's emperor.
So
but Johnston begins to secretly teach Puyi Western history and philosophy. Up until this point, the young emperor only studied Chinese classics. But under Johnston's influence, Puyi falls in love with British culture, and he starts to change.
Ooh.
Normally, all male subjects of the Qing dynasty were required to wear a queue. But soon, Puyi will just cut his off, a major offense to the tradition.
Oh, so he's on a different wave. I'll check it later.
He begins to dress like an English gentleman instead.
Oh my gosh.
He starts speaking a mix of English and Chinese. And from now on, he will call himself Henry. Puyi also wears glasses.
Bro said I am not Puyi. I am Henry.
Which the dowager consorts will not approve of. He will ride a bike through the
It's important. Yo, calm yourself, gang. I don't want to time you out.
Forbidden City and fall in love with movies.
Dang,
but most of all, he will become obsessed with a strange new invention from the West, the telephone. He makes calls to people in Beijing and hangs up before announcing who it is. One time, he orders a meal to a false address, likely the first royal prank call in history. Puyi increasingly gets an idea of what the outside world might actually look like, and everything he's missing out on. He announces that once he's old enough, he wants to leave the country and study at Oxford.
I ain't gonna lie, I want to see what's it called? I want to see if he has any, like, family now.
On June 3rd, 1922, he tries to make this dream come true. He asks Reginald Johnston to sneak him out of the Forbidden City. But Johnston, the man who planted all these dreams in Puyi's head, refuses. If Puyi were to leave, Johnston would lose his position, with all its perks and status. Puyi has no one else to help him escape, and though he doesn't fully realize it yet, he's being entrapped even further. The dowager consorts, who also depend on him for their livelihood, have figured out a way to make escape impossible.
Okay, so now it's like, okay, he's screwed. They don't even want him to leave because he's so crucial to the plot.
Puyi faces a decision. He must choose a bride. His only guide, these 4 photographs, selected by the dowager consorts. He is 16 years old. The pictures are small, the faces of the women difficult to see. He draws a circle around.
You just gonna tell me all these black and white pictures? Why aren't you gonna show me these ladies face to face, gang? You see what I'm saying? I can't learn through no dang packet, bro. I need to see these ladies face to face. No cap, no troll. Bro, I can't believe AMP kicked me. I'm gonna let you sit with that one.
One that looks pretty.
I'm gonna let you sit with that one.
This is Wenxiu, a 12-year-old Manchu girl. But the dowager consorts don't consider her a suitable first choice. She's an aristocrat, but she's too poor to be empress. He chooses again. This time he points to a 15-year-old girl from a prominent rich family.
Okay, wait a second. How old is he? I forgot how old he is. I'm assuming he's 15, right?
The dowager consorts are pleased. Her name is Wang Rong.
Okay.
2 tiny pictures. One will be his wife. One will be his consort. He's encouraged to point to other pictures to choose secondary consorts. But Puyi refuses. One is enough. The pictures he selected are taken away. He won't see either girl until his wedding night.
Oh my gosh.
A couple of months later, just
Dang,
after
that's
the
crazy
wedding,
how they do it.
Puyi is with his Empress wife for the first time. He
Which
has no
is-
experience with women. Now, on his first wedding night, he's supposed to consummate the marriage,
What's consummate mean? What does that mean?
but he doesn't know how. No one told him how this works. He panics and runs away. Puyi didn't consummate his marriage then, and it's probable he never did. When asked many years later, Puyi's little brother said the ex-emperor was found to be biologically incapable of producing children.
Oh,
This may have been literally
so he was trying to you saw what I'm saying? Their day was to crush, but he didn't know how to do it.
true, but some historians speculate that this was a euphemism, that Puyi was, in fact, homosexual.
Okay. How did you get that from that? What?
The years after Puyi's abdication are years
Cinema,
of
that's
chaos. The first Chinese premier declares himself emperor. A few weeks later, he abdicates. 6 months later, he's dead.
What?
Meanwhile, warlords fight
What do you mean you can't just claim you're that guy and then get put in a pack? Shanghai.
all over the country, and Western powers
Shanghai?
continue to assert economic and territorial
Jeez,
influence
bro.
through concessions. China is weak,
Bro said it's-
fragmented, and without
Yeah, bro
central
said it's
leadership.
mine and they got took off the map. Bro, this is a geeker.
In November 1924, one of the warlords takes control of
Fang
Beijing
Yu-
and forces Puyi to leave the Forbidden City.
Fang Yu
He
Shang.
can keep his private wealth, and he'll get money from the state, but his days as emperor are finally over.
That's what I'm saying. The
To
Gulf
Puyi,
America.
now 18 years old, this doesn't sound too bad.
Oh, he's old enough.
He's
now,
always
okay.
wanted to live an ordinary life. From this day forward, he'll be a private citizen, free to do whatever he wants. But his freedom will look quite different from what he
Whoa.
expected.
1950.
26 years later,
Whoa.
in a Chinese prison,
Whoa, bro! Imagine being in Mexico and seeing maps change that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd be infuriated. Like, what do you mean you gonna change it? I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. That's a crazy take, bro. That's a crazy take.
to be more precise,
Like,
the
why?
Fushun War Criminals Management Center. The dynasty is no more. The republic is no more either.
So what's instead?
After a brutal civil war, Mao Zedong and the Chinese Communist
Communism.
Party have
Yeah,
ceased.
communism. I was about to say, they tried republic? No. They tried kings and queens? No. So the only other option is communism or socialism. And then, I ain't gonna lie to you, we all know Mao Zedong, bro. If any of y'all, I think all of y'all should know who Mao Zedong is, bro. This man got some stripes under his belt, and I ain't even gonna say in good ways.
Power, and they've installed re-education centers all over the country.
He built to educate.
Prisons and labor camps where enemies
might
undergo
be.
communist brainwashing and harsh conditions. They either learn to be communists or die in the process.
Oh Jesus!
This is one of them.
He got stained.
Prisoner number
Yeah,
981
definitely.
is weak and absurdly incompetent. He only recently learned to tie his shoes and brush his teeth. He is hopelessly untidy and constantly forgets simple actions, like turning off the faucet after use. Before his imprisonment in 1950, he'd never have to do such things. They'd been done for him. He'd been a living god, after all.
Oh my gosh!
Now,
bro.
like so many others,
Did
he's
he
going
win?
through so-called remolding. He's compiled a list of Japanese crimes in Manchuria. He attended presentations by Japanese war criminals.
Stained tier list dictators. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd have to do research, and I'm scared. Is that cancelable? That sounds dangerous. Imagine if I put the H man up at top. That, oh my gosh, that just sounds like a very scary idea. Yeah, don't. Yeah, let's throw that one away real quick.
These crimes, he was to blame for them, he begins to realize. For this is Puyi, the prison's so-called number one traitor.
Oh, so he later becomes a traitor. How about
After
fictional
leaving the
villains
Forbidden
tier
City,
list?
he'll-
See? Drunk, I like what you did there. We can work with that. Haha, we can work with that one.
Aligned himself with the Japanese. They first housed him in Tianjin,
Tianjin.
then enthroned him as emperor of the Japanese puppet state of Manchukuo in Manchuria.
Manchukuo.
The region was invaded by Japan in 1931.
Oh.
For 11 years, he'd been the puppet emperor once again, controlled by the
gosh,
Japanese, legitimizing their myriad war crimes in Manchuria. When the
Bro.
Soviets invaded Manchuria in 1945, Puyi had been captured. Tried as a war criminal at the military tribunal for the Far East, he'd lied shamelessly to save his skin, disavowing all responsibility for his role as a ruler
Bro said-
and blaming the Japanese, his former ally.
So, okay, so when he got caught, he snitched so he could lessen his time. That's crazy. Also had a video idea. We all come forward with main character who has the most aura and debate. Okay, I don't mind that. Or if I did like a tier list, right? And then whoever I put in the S tier category, I'll have y'all debate. Who do y'all think out of the S tier truly deserves the title of Stain? So we have like S tier and then we have Stain. Oh my gosh. W's.
After the Chinese Communist Party came to power in 1949, the Soviets sent him back to China. Now in Fushun prison, he's being remolded. The Chinese communists realize he's a powerful symbol, an incarnation of everything they're against: decadent imperialism and capitalist greed. If he can be turned into a communist, anyone can. It would be the ultimate symbol of their ideological supremacy.
So he's not.
Puyi will spend 9 years at the prison camp, listening to lectures, grappling with his guilt, committing to paper his many sins. In the end, he is released, weak, shrunken, and humble. Puyi is now a true believer, a die-hard communist.
Oh my gosh. He got turned.
At least, that's what he says.
They gotta make him a movie, bro.
After being released from prison, Puyi moved in with his sister in Beijing.
Oh.
One time, he even worked as the tour guide in the Forbidden City, the place where he was once crowned the emperor of the 4th largest dynasty in human history, ruling over 1/3 of the world's population.
So I'm assuming after a war happened, he figured out a way for him to dip out, and then he dipped.
At last, Puyi eventually took a job as a gardener, working quietly among the plants. It seemed that Puyi at least found some sort of freedom. Throughout his life, he has worn many faces. As a toddler, he was traumatized by a sudden kidnapping. As a boy, he took pleasure in torturing innocent servants. As a teenager, he dreamed of becoming an Oxford student. As Emperor of Manchukuo, he was complicit in horrendous crimes against humanity.
What the fuck?
And as a prisoner, he was repentant and humble. He died on 17 October 1967.
What the fudge? Wow, that's kind of swaggy, bro. Bro lived many lives in one life, bro. Yo, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy Kiddabsolute. I'm gonna catch y'all next one. Peace.